Yeah, I actually want to put this first question out here just from the get go. What's the difference between a bankster and somebody in a jacket and tie and suit talking real polite about the price of silver? Nothing. Nothing. Or the price of gold, or the price of platinum or palladium. You trust those guys? I don't. They're banksters too, basically, think of it that way. I played the game before too. Actually, most of my life I had to wear suits and ties all the time, and all the cufflinks and all the stuff, right? But I don't actually. I don't know. I just take pride in that. I'm more down to earth on a lot of things. But the thing is, most of these people in suits, I actually have a total disrespect for them. Totally. I mean, I realize that sometimes education, I believe, is a lot. Especially education where it begins to be focused in on organization, which actually numbers is organization, and how you use those numbers is actually organization. It allows you to do a mission for much less cost, and that's where numbers and stuff comes into play being. But most of these people in suits and ties are total BSers, they're banksters, and you're silver and gold pump and dumpers. With that being said, I just want to say something. I want to get on with platinum and palladium, and I think silver and gold are going to be excellent investments for at least a few years or more, probably to 2017, but not forever. Definitely not forever. Don't let them fool you into thinking there's going to be some kind of cosmic paradigm shift and that everybody's going to go to silver and gold forever and you're going to be filthy rich if you keep these coins forever. Wrong-o. But for now, they're super low. And the one thing that's going to get hammered, I know it will be the fiat dollar, despite what some people say. Some people will say, hold on to cash. You should hold on to cash as a reserve, but not mainly. But I want to talk a little bit about platinum and palladium. There's something I read, actually, I think it was a couple of years ago, about the mines in South Africa and the countries around South Africa. Basically, they're owned by some of these UK companies or something, or they have major interest in them. And there's something agreement where they have to turn them over to like the local authority, population or whatever the hell it is. I forgot what it is exactly. But what they're not doing is they're not investing any capital in it. They're like, just say, screw it, we're not putting any money in that shit. We're just milking it till we got to turn it over. Basically, I'm pretty sure this is what it was. I can't find the article right now, but I saw it a while ago. But it makes sense to what's going on because basically all the mines are freaking falling apart in South Africa. There is no capital expenditures going on. That's a reality. It's like they're ruining the mining industry down there. Yet the price of platinum and palladium is going down. I know palladium is Russian, more Russian than South Africa, but South Africa is actually pretty close to what the Russian output is. But these two metals actually have a lot more potential to move up. And one other indication, surefire indication, I think that you're going to be moving up is what people from Sprott's organization is saying, because he's the, it's not, I think he's not going to tell you when it's going to move down, but they're pumping it right now. That's what I'm saying. They're saying, hey, get platinum and palladium. Hey, I think that part is correct, but don't hold it forever. But, in 2012, there was a record amount of, platinum and palladium actually used, but they had to take out a lot of from stockpiles. And that is also in 2011. Same deal. Actually, 2012 was even more demand than 2011. Both years they had to take out of stockpiles. So why isn't the price going up more and more? I mean, platinum was around 1800 something, 1900 around there, and palladium was at 860, 870 for briefly. Just in the last couple of years. So why is the price not going up? Is it manipulation? I don't know, but Actually, let me just put it this way: the price is depressed right now. Actually, those two metals would be very good buys. I wouldn't try to hold out for a double though. I think eventually they'll probably go way higher than that. But if you get a 50% increase, like in other words, if palladium gets to around 11-1200 bucks, which that probably might be about it. It might be between 1,000 and 1,200 before the next, and it'll have another correction. That's what I'm almost thinking. But I smell something coming up that they're probably going to pump it like it's going to double, and I don't think it's going to double. Probably like less than 50% height. That's what I'm thinking. Eventually, it's going to go way past that. But I think this next run up ain't going to be to that height. It might be around 1,100 or somewhere around there. So, just to give you a little what my feeling says, I'm just going by my thing, because it's partly Fibonacci, but it's also partly because that was the old high, and it's also partly because Sprott and his people are pushing it, and they keep mentioning double. I think that's too high. That's almost like the $100 bullshit with silver. Right? Didn't quite go double. They didn't quite get there, did it? So that's something to consider. But the thing is, I tell you the truth, I don't like gold that much. Gold is probably doing better than all those other metals. The reason I don't like it, because that's something that the government probably could really take. In case of platinum, you talk about silver's got industrial use. Platinum is like palladium, especially. Platinum, I think, is over 60% industrial use between that and jewelry. But palladium, when you add in automotive use alone, is 60 to 65%. And then you add in, like, they even use a little bit for photography, for like the photos they got to keep for 100 years. And then you add in other things like there's a little bit of jewelry, not much, and ETFs and stuff, investment area. But you add that up, what's left over for investment is only like 3 to 5% of the whole supply. It's like nothing. It's not like silver. Silver's like 20-something% between the ETFs and the coins. Plus, platinum is like way more rare than gold. Maybe it's not 20 or 30 times as rare, but it's way more rare in a practical sense. I mean, you might say in the whole Earth there might be a lot of platinum, and there's all these reserves, the geologists might say, but the problem is they're inaccessible at anywhere near this price. And you got to remember this, even if the price doubles, I don't know if it's going to do that right away. I think eventually, like something like palladium is going to go up at least several times. It could easily be $6,000-7,000 an ounce, even 10 times. It could be eventually later on, but I think this next run up might be somewhere around the record high it hit last time, like 11 something around there. That might be where it bounces off, and that's actually a very good game. But the reason I'm saying that is because I think, if I was a person I'd be selling a little bit around that once it gets a little over 1,000, because if it does, because I don't think it's going to double right away. There might be a little bit of a pullback. That's a metal that I realize is far more manipulated, has the potential to be far more manipulated than silver, palladium. Because the Russians have this supposed secret supply, and they say it's out, and they said it's been out since 2009, 2010, 11, 12. I don't think it's out. They play rumors, and then they dump on the market. So, Sprott's got a whole pile of this stuff, so I think it's going to start going up for that reason. But then again, it might not go up as high as how they're trying to make you think it's going to go up. So if they mention double, I think double's out of line for right now. Long range, it's going to be far more than double. Depends on how long you want to hold it for, though. But you got to remember, if there's another investment out there that's really good, and it doesn't mean like you're going to hold fiat cash forever. You want some other investment out there that's going to bring you growth. So, and there's a lot of stuff that seems to be coming online. So, the other thing is with the mines in South Africa, the way they're going and the way they're treating, actually that's not like an English, white thing against the blacks or something, because it's the blacks that are running the companies down there being real jerks, man, to the people that are doing the mines. And real jerks, man. They were like machine gunning down people that were doing an illegal strike, and mass firings of like 15,000 workers. I read these stories last year. Yet somehow, do you think that would make a massive shortage in platinum, gold, and palladium? Not really. I don't know what the deal. Actually, it is. This is a bullshit freaking spot market paper price. So, but just watch out how the financial advisors, because the middle class is getting squeezed between two people, like the banksters and the if you want to call them banksters, but basically the guys that work in the financial markets that might have you invest in some traditional mutual funds that might not be safe in the long term. They maybe used to be safe for 50 years, but they might not be going forward because of what's happening. And then you have other people like in the precious metals markets who are basically understand where the cycles are going to be, but they're not really telling everybody the full story. And they can't, because that's basically the game. You got to sell it to some schmuck, right? I mean, if I was working for him, I'd probably be doing the same shit, because that's what it'd be told to do. That's one reason I don't want to work for, well, I don't work for any freaking precious metals people, but basically when I was in the financial world, or anybody I had to work for, hey, I had to make them look like a bunch of saints. So, screw that shit. I ain't doing that. But I'm telling you right now, I think that they're probably going to do another like pump and dump on platinum and palladium. But right now, the pump phase didn't even start. So it's pretty cheap. It's just going to be a matter of when to dump it. I would only dump a little bit of palladium, even physical, at say around 1100. Because I got some good faith in that. But what could possibly happen is that could be more volatile than even silver, palladium. That could be more volatile than anything. Actually, if you remember back in 2001, they went to like 4 or 5 times the price of gold. That was actually over 4 times the price of gold, briefly, in 2001. And what did it do? It crashed down to a fraction of the price of gold. So that thing can have some extremely erratic movements. And there's the pump and dump people, / banksters, or whatever the hell it is, that are probably setting up the middle class suckers for the kill. But, actually the only ones who are going to buy it at that price are mainly going to be the middle class. Even Ford Motor Company, when they bought it at that price in 2001, when it was at that ridiculously high price, actually paid for that was the middle class. Bought the cars, didn't they? They paid for it. They say the company paid for it. The company didn't pay for shit. The company, but the middle class is the company. And that's really what it is. And because the guys on the top, they still got their salaries, they still got their perks, they still got, all their stock options or whatever the hell else they got. So I'd almost smell that was an inside deal back then, right? I shouldn't say that, but what else would it have been, right? Think that people who made that decision at Ford were that stupid? That's how it works. So even back then, when supposedly the company got ripped off of Ford Motor Company, middle class. So I'm going to come up with, I'm going to stick on with this shit for quite some time, this YouTube shit, and I'm going to put out a lot of different videos on different shit, but I'm probably going to stick in with a lot of these metals financial videos, and maybe go on with some accounting and tax crap or something. I don't like taxes. But the only people you actually see, there are professional people you'll see on YouTube that are, but you know what? They're not really giving you anything for free. They're out there to sell their brokerage firm and why you should invest with them, or why you should see that, why you should be their client. That's all they're for. So I ain't playing that game. Just giving you straight scoop all the way. And I think I'm going to be more correct on this than the rest of them, to tell you the truth. So we shall see. But I think platinum and palladium are stellar bets. There's no way they can really confiscate that shit. Because legally, because goes into cars. You know, what the hell? I mean, what do they do? Confiscate catalytic converters? You know? So I think that's one reason to be in those metals. That's one reason another reason I chose palladium and platinum over gold. So that's a very important consideration. Gold is money. Platinum and palladium are just like very expensive industrial rocks. And they're going to get a lot more expensive. So it has nothing to do, you know, central banks buying it and all this kind of crap. It's just they're just a very expensive commodity. And they're used, like I said, almost all the platinum and palladium, especially the palladium. It's like used way more for industrial usage than, as a percentage, than silver. Yet it's only a tiny fraction available, the aggregate supply, than what gold is. That's mined every year. So figure it out. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, silver's like they got a supply this big, and platinum has a supply that big. It's like nothing. And same with palladium. It's like nothing. Yet out of that tiny little supply, you know, you got a much larger percentage of it gets used up in industry every year. But beware the pump and dumpers, because it's like right now we're at the low part, and they're going to pump it up, and they're going to be right. It's going to be going up. It's going to be going up. It's going to be going up. But it's not going to be going up to the lofty levels that they're going to say it is right away. There'll be another slam down, that's for sure. But nowhere near like some of the fiat currency twerps are, because, you know, people will tell you like palladium's going to be $350 an ounce. They're on crack. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. You know, gold is going to go to $8.50 an ounce. Silver's going to go to $15 to $18 an ounce. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're idiots. But, you know, I'm like a happy medium between the two. But, you know, if you get some big gains, don't be afraid to part with it. Toilet paper is still going to buy fiat toilet paper. It's still going to buy you stuff. So, you know, that's what you need.